What is up, everyone? I'm Ryan from Fireside Yankees, and in today's video, we're looking at the Yankees' 9-6 loss to the Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, there were quite a few eventful performances and important performances to talk about, but before we get into that, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. It's been great the support you guys have been giving us lately, but if you guys turn on post notifications, you guys can know when we post. We've got you guys with these post-game recaps. We've got you guys with daily podcasts, highlights, shorts, all of that stuff right here on Fireside Yankees. But without further ado, let's get into today's video. Let's start off on the pitching side of the ball, where Clarke Schmidt was immaculate today, which, you know, you look at those 9 runs from the Pittsburgh Pirates and you're like, how was he pitching so well? Well, we'll get into the bullpen a little bit later, but he threw 5 perfect innings. 50 pitches to get through 5 perfect innings. Struck out 7 batters, 7 ground balls, 1 fly out. I mean, he was just amazing today. He was throwing the slider a lot more. That pitch was money for him. You know, he's really put together a very impressive spring in terms of strikeouts. He's still trying to work on how to limit, you know, home runs and hard contact, but this outing was really impressive. I think that if you're a New York Yankees fan, you're looking at this outing and you're saying that this is really the type of outing you want him to put up right before a really critical first start for the year, something that's going to establish his confidence level, something that's going to establish, you know, what his role will be going forward. You know, the Yankees aren't going to go too long without Carlos Rodon. He's already scheduled to throw catch this week. So, you know, end of the day, he's going to have to prove a lot in a short amount of time, and he's certainly proving a lot today in spring so far with his strikeout numbers. But with that being said, let's move on to Jimmy Cordero, who pitched an inning, gave up 2 hits, an earned run, got a strikeout. Wasn't his best day, but, you know, he still had really good stuff. He was still throwing absolute gas, so you'll love to see that. Wandy Peralta came in and he didn't record a single out. He gave up 3 hits, 3 earned runs, a 2-run home run. It really wasn't his day. You know, he really struggled today. The Yankees pulled him after 13 pitches. I imagine that was precautionary, that he was just getting shelled. They figured, you know, try to take him out now. But with that being said, you know, the guy who followed him didn't perform too poorly. And Albert Abreu, 1 strikeout, 1 inning, 1 and a third innings pitch, 2 hits, 1 earned run. Really not a great outing per se, but he's had a really good spring in general. He has a 1.29 ERA. You know, he's pitched pretty well. His velocity is down a little bit, which is, you know, a tad bit concerning for a lot of reasons. Number one, because Abreu is really reliant on his velocity. He's not a guy who stands out in terms of pitch movement. He's not a guy who you're going to look at to get a lot of deceptive looks or, you know, change eye levels or anything like that. He really isn't someone with great movement. So seeing him down a tick on his sinker is definitely, it's definitely something to note. And the slider velocity too was lowered, and those are concerning things for sure. But I hope that perhaps during the regular season he's throwing with a little more intensity and he's able to get you know, more velo there. DeMarcus Evans threw a third of an inning. He gave up 5 hits, 4 earned runs. He did not look great today. 1 strikeout, no walks, no home runs. He kept getting hit. He just kept getting hit around the field. You know, the Yankees just had a couple of real stinkers out of the bullpen today. And again, it's spring training, so you don't really care about the wins and losses, but that certainly isn't the type of performance Evans was looking to put up. James Norwood threw another really awesome outing, 1 and a third innings pitch, just 1 hit, 2 strikeouts. I've talked about him extensively because I think his stuff is really, really good. When you look at what he does, he has that 4-seam fastball, which again, you know, not inherently a great pitch in terms of pitch movement, but what it does do is it establishes eye levels, right? And you know, that split change, whatever you want to call it, it is nasty. And so he is really able to get a lot of swings and misses and a lot of called strikes. So he's someone to definitely look out for. But that really wraps up the pitching side of the ball. Outside of Clarke Schmidt and James Norwood, there was a lot of meh in there or not great performances, but you love what you saw from Clarke Schmidt today. And I think that's the real big takeaway from here. His pitch mix just looked excellent. His command is excellent. He's only walked 1 batter this spring. So I think the command and the confidence in throwing strikes has been a lot better. But let's move on to the offense side of the ball. DJ LeMahieu had 2 hits. He went 2 for 4 today with a double. I think he looked good at the plate. He's hitting .364 this spring. He looks healthy. Aaron Judge had a booming double that I have no idea how that didn't leave the ballpark. It was 408 feet, over 106 miles an hour. It was a rocket. Anthony Rizzo didn't have a hit today, but he worked a walk. Giancarlo Stanton had 2 RBI singles today and a walk. It was the single hardest hit ball by any batter this spring training at 118 miles an hour. It was ridiculous. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have any video to see it, but it was a rocket. Josh Donaldson had an RBI double. Jason Dominguez had a double as well. Oswaldo Cabrera went 0 for 2 with a walk. Oswald while Peraza went 1 for 2 with a walk. And outside of that, there really wasn't much more to mention. End of the day, you look at that Jason Dominguez double. He's continuing to impress this spring. His OPS is 1.565. That is not an error. His OPS is over 1,500. His on-base percentage is over 520, which means he's actually getting on base more often than he's recording outs in spring training. It's ridiculous. This kid has been amazing all spring, and I'm really excited to see what the Yankees do with him. Perhaps they start him in AAA, but he's just really impressed so far. Again, Giancarlo Stanton hits baseballs hard. There's not really much more else to say. And I think one really important thing we've been getting to see this spring is Oswald Peraza's plate discipline. He is walking a lot this spring. He is not swinging and missing. He is not expanding the strike zone. I think his play discipline is looking really good. Yes, he has a 779 OPS, which isn't elite. It's certainly above average, but it isn't elite by any means. And a 227 average isn't moving anybody. But a 370 OBP, going out there and not striking out a lot. If you look at his strikeout to walk rate, he's walked 4 times, he's struck out 4 times, and that's in 27 plate appearances. I think he's looked really good in terms of just controlling the strike zone, which is something rookies typically really struggle with. So, end of the day, I think that we're looking at a player that is certainly going to get overlooked. People are going to be obsessed with Volpe, and I'm obsessed with Volpe, and overlook Peraza, or think that if Peraza doesn't hit like a star, he's not that good of a player. This is an elite defender. This is an elite base runner, and this is someone who's shown a really good eye at the plate. If he's able to translate that to major league level as he has early in his career and so far in spring training, we could see this kid go out there and walk 10% of the time, 11% of the time, potentially put up a 340, 350 OBP. If he has league average slugging numbers and league average batting average numbers, he's going to have an above average WRC plus, and this is going to be a guy who's going to give you, above average WRC plus, that's above average offense at the plate, contribute more to his offensive value with his base running, and then play gold glove caliber defense. That's an extremely valuable player to have, and you can't just brush that aside. And I think that Oswald Peraza ends up being the starting shortstop for this team. As great as Anthony Volpe's been, if Volpe is on this team, I think it does a second baseman next to Oswald Peraza. But we'll really have to wait and see there. And, that's a very nuanced conversation when it comes to Volpe, Peraza, and all these guys. But with that being said, thank you guys so much for checking us out. You guys have been great with the support lately. We appreciate you guys so much. Again, this is your one-stop shop for New York Yankees content. We've got you guys with daily podcasts, highlights, post-game recaps, whatever you guys need, we're here for you. But with that being said, thank you guys again so much for tuning in. I'm Ryan Garcia. You can check me out at Ryan Garcia ESM on Twitter. Peace out.